Today in our 2018 Chrysler Pacifica, you're going to be taking a look at, I'm going to show you how to install the Curt T-Connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56322. Here's what you're going to get in your kit. You're going to get your wiring harness. It's going to give you your plugs that are going to plug into existing wiring. This is going to be for your passenger side. It's going to be for your driver's side. They're going to plug in right behind your taillights. And your 4-pole connection. This is going to give you all your proper lighting function to safely tow your trailer. Both turn signals, your running lights, your brake lights, and also your grounds. Now, we get a lot of questions about why you need a converter box. Well, the converter box is a very important part of the wiring. What it's going to do, it's going to protect your factory wiring from any backfeed if your trailer has a short. You're going to get the fuse holder, fuse zip ties, two-sided sticky tape for mounting your converter box. Get your ring terminal. You're also going to get two butt connectors. Since our wiring is going to be living outside, I suggest not using those and using heat shrink butt connectors. You can pick these up using part number DW05745. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a T27 Torx bit. We're going to remove our factory tail lights. We're going to have 2 bolts on that hold each one in. We're going to take our light and we're going to pull straight back with it. Just like that. Go ahead and unplug it. You're going to have a red tab there. Push up on it. Like that. And then we're going to push down right there on that black section. And then pull out. And we're going to do the same thing to the passenger side. Next, I'm going to take an airline tube. You can use a wire hanger. We're going to feed it right down through this spot here, down to the bottom of the vehicle. Now on the other side, if you have the underbody panel, take an 8mm socket. We're going to remove this bolt, this one, and this one. We just need to pull down this corner to get our wiring up. And you can see there's my tube. Now, since we have such a small space to go through up there, do your wire like this. You're going to take one end and you're going to tape it to whatever you have drop down through there. Make sure you tape it straight up and down and not across. Now, before we make our connection, we're going to take a little bit of dielectric grease. Go ahead and put it on your connections. It's going to help prevent any moisture buildup inside. It's going to help protect your connections from corroding. Make sure you push your red tab back down. Then we'll reinstall our taillight. Next, I'm going to mount my converter box. Take your 2-sided tape. Push it firmly into place. Peel off the other side. And I'm actually going to stick this, because we have a panel, I'm going to stick it right on the side of my hitch right here. Put a little pressure on it. Make sure it's going to stick on there. And we can just run our wires right over the top. I'm going to strip back my black wire here. And you're going to have black wire that comes in your kit. I'm going to strip back the end of that. Take our heat shrink butt connector. And we'll crimp the two together. And we'll take a heat source and shrink the butt connector. I'm going to take my self-tapping screw, 1/4-inch socket. I'm actually going to mount it right on my frame rail. Right there. I want to make sure that it's on metal and not on any plastic. Now, since my black wire is going to be running to the front of the vehicle, while my panel is down and loose, I'm going to go ahead and feed it through to the other side of it. Now we can go ahead and put our panel back in place. Now I'm just taking some zip ties. I'm running my 4-pole wire to my bracket. And then my green wire, I'm going to run it across over to my passenger side. And I'll just zip tie it around the back of my hitch. So here on the passenger side, since we have the exhaust here, we don't want our wire to run right over the top of it. We want to try to stay away from our heat. So what I did is I pushed my connectors over top of my bumper beam here. And then when I pull my wire down, it'll come down over here and it'll keep my electrical wire well up above my heat. And we're going to do the same thing on the passenger side. Use the wire or airline tube to get our wire up top. And then again, make sure you add dielectric grease to your connectors. Once you do that, plug your wires in, reinstall your tail light. Now I'm going to route my power wire to the front of the vehicle. Let me get it done real quick and I'll show you how I did it. We want to make sure we're staying away from anything hot or moving. I went up above my axle components here, found some existing wiring, just followed it, and what I did is I took a 10mm socket, and this panel that runs all the way up to the front has plastic screws on it. What I did is I pulled them down and just tucked my wire right underneath. Came out of this hole here, went underneath this panel, right here, and it'll go right up against my firewall. I went ahead, fed my airline tube down from a spot right up by my battery. Just pull up our wire. Just like that. Now I'm actually going to take my wire, instead of going directly across like that, I'm going to go around my air cleaner here. What I did is I zip tied my wire. I actually went around my fuse panel also. Came around, zip tied it here. I'm actually going to put it right on this post here. So I'm going to cut it off about right here. Go ahead and strip it back. We'll add on our heat shrink butt connector. Take our fuse holder, one end into the butt connector, other end, so then to get our ring terminal. Now make sure when you make this connection, you don't have the fuse in the holder. We'll add our fuse. Then our customer decided to add a 4-pole mounting bracket. This is going to give your 4-pole a more permanent mounting location. Now we'll test out our wiring using part number I26. Brake lights, right turn, left turn, running lights. That'll do it for a look at and installation on the Curt T-Connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56322 on our 2018 Chrysler Pacifica.